club that he played some footy with, Kilpatrick. He went over and won a McGarry medal in South Australia. Mark Nash with a footy. O'Connor and King, the 17-year-old.
Well, both Bill Brownless and David Mensch are going into the goal square. Mensch looks to be getting picked up by Wellman, and Fletcher's going with Bill Brownless. Couple of good matchups. Hurd with Mansfield on the forward flank.
Cats to the left of screen. So the same old get the ball out of the centre. That's Essendon to half forward. Cockatoos Collins, well done. McCurry duck, trying to get a handball away. Colbert's handball was good to King. He showed a clear head there. Colbert to half forward. The umpire got in the way. Fletcher with an opportunity. Some people will say nothing's changed in 100 years. The umpire made a bit of a blue there. Doolan couldn't take the mark. A crash on McKinnon. Should get a free kick. Does at centre wing. He's got a good leg, this young fellow. Can kick the footy. Can give it a roost. Undecided. We mightn't see that opportunity. He puts himself under pressure. Riccardi goes. Mercedes in there. Tudor's over the top. Still Essendon with Mercedes trying to get it to Fraser. Fraser can't. In there was Colbert. To Riccardi. Beautiful hands. Burns could kick this. On the left. He's got it. Some splendid work in there, including Riccardi and Colbert. And Geelong get the first.
He's been an exciting first-year player, Ronnie Burns. So mercurial with the football. And here you see just anybody's ball there, but a half chance comes out from Colbert. He's doing that very well. Riccardi flips it out to Ronnie Burns, who makes no mistake.
Yes, Ronnie Burns, the first for Geelong. Bounce in the centre, low bounce. Somerville thumps it 30 metres towards centre half forward. O'Connor comes out to meet it. Gives it beautifully to Denon, then chips. And great play from the Bombers sets up McCurry.
An interesting matchup with Ryan O'Connor going with the first-year player in Stephen King, who is a noted ruckman, but starting across the half-back line, picking up O'Connor.
So Mark McCurry, kicking from about 45, 47 metres, now has to go back as the Geelong player on the mark comes forward to where he'd marked it on the ground. McCurry kicks, gets underneath it. It's high, across the point line and a behind. So a quick reply, but it's only a point, and Essendon trail by 5.
They missed a few in Sydney, didn't they, last week, the Bombers, from relatively easy shots. So not the start they wanted. McCurry, normally you'd back him in. Scholl short. Mansfield, the old 1-2, back to Scholl, runs to half-back, then kicks the ball to centre wing. Not a good kick. McGrath did very well against Cummings. A little toe poke by Denham. Now McCurry, another touch. Danaher, well played. Harvey in trouble. Gets his kick as Burns pressures him. Hocking again. Denham did beautifully. McCurry after it. Towards centre wing, out of play. He just was not on song last Friday night in Sydney, McCurry. Such a skillful young player. And let's hope he can have a big one tonight. The constabulary here tonight, and they're right in the thick of it, enjoying it. What great seats they've got. All dressed up, but with somewhere to go. Somerville, McGrath, and also Pickering, who tossed the coin tonight for Geelong, and the ball out of play. So another boundary throw-in.
I hate to say this, but they look like zebras running towards you, Gerard. I'm not sure if I do like it.
The stripes are pretty striking, aren't they?
Yeah, boundary throw-in, centre wing. Barnes and Somerville. Barnes taps back. Pack of players in underneath. Some good hard stuff. O'Donnell almost. Mercedes in over the top. Comes back out to Doolan. He kicks the ball around towards the boundary line. Danaher runs at it and then fumbles it. And it's been called off the leg. So a free kick will go to Colbert. Right in front of the members. And a huge crowd here. Lee Colbert, one of the acting vice-captain youngsters. Chips. Ooh. Oh. Sanderson's copped a heavy one from Cockatoo Collins. No 50-metre penalty. Oh, well, there you go.
Well, it did appear that there was a 50-metre penalty due. But early in the game, the umpire elected to go for safety.
Hurd flew first. Hocking was at the back. Danaher. Harvey went to ground. Brewer after it. Burns, clever, very clever. To McKinnon, was going to handball, then goes with a high one to full forward. Mensch and also Wellman. Fraser gets back, controls it pretty well to Doolan. Doolan away, uses Harvey. Harvey close to the boundary line, squeezes it, not far enough. Straight to Couch. Couch centering ball. Oh, there's a heap of cats there. Take your pick. Buller takes it in the heart of the square. Out wide to Tudor. Gets him. Long way from goal. Chips away cleverly. Barnes has made the move and marks.
Well, already Geelong showing some dominance in the middle of the ground. They're getting the ball into their forward 50. We've seen Ronnie Burns a couple of times show some electrifying skills. And now they should just about get their second goal on the board.
Goes short, Colbert didn't find him completely. Then in the pocket, brings it back close. It might be a goal. He's happy. Colbert gets the goal in the end, and Geelong get their second. They lead by 11 points.
Well, they'd be pretty happy with this one, Geelong, because after this fairly ordinary kick from Barnes, it was always going to be a tough shot, and then perhaps a little bit of lax defence work from Essendon just allowed it to go over at chest height.
Sparkling start to the Cats. Pickering, quick kick out of the centre, falls to Doolan. Needs support from behind. Another handball's missed. Going back, Brewer runs onto it, overruns it, then taps it cleverly onto McKinnon. Meeting it well is Grenvold, gives it off to Harvey. Harvey almost caught again, kicks out wide. Only Geelong there. Pickering can set it up, kicks to Mensch, can't grab hold of it, and the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. Gerard, I was just interested, this was the start of the season. Michael Long sitting on the bench there. They only played 14 home and away games in 1897. We've already played 7 rounds of Lightning Premiership and an Ansett Cup Series. My word, things have changed in 100 years. Brownless. Oh, Billy Ducks on the left foot. Kicks from 45 metres. The crowd's happy. Another Geelong goal. Third goal to Geelong, and really is a bright start now.
Just what Billy needed. Blistering pace there shown from Billy, and perhaps they wouldn't have kicked it on their non-preferred side like that 100 years ago, Malcolm, but they would have been just as happy with the end result. Geelong killing them in the middle. Got Hocking on Denham, Couch on Chris Danaher, and Pickering on Masiti.
The Pivotonians are well on top early. The same olds will have to lift. O'Donnell's handball. Doolan has to concede. Brewer. Brownless. Well done, O'Donnell. Very well done. Brilliantly played by the captain, but he had to give it up a bit too much in the end. McKinnon back to Brownless, a long way from goal. Looks for a free, gets it. Had a juggling in front. Made out he had no control. Pushed it away and won a free kick at centre wing. No one on the mark. Billy can run on here. He does, and then kicks the ball to the goal square. Nearly Tanner front spot. And what was a slow start for Essendon is starting to become crucial.
Well, they've been famous this season for their second half fade-outs, but if they don't get their act together shortly, there won't be any chance to have a fade-out. They really will need a big comeback. Geelong have just dominated the game to date. The ball has hardly been across the half-forward line for Essendon, and they're coming in now for their 4th goal.
From point-blank range. He's given it a push, but it looks like it's through. Tanner gets his first, and the Cats stream away now, 24-1.
Well, 4 goals isn't a big lead in football, but it's probably just the way that they've achieved this, Geelong. They really are dominating almost in every possession that the ball has been to, and Kevin Sheedy may have to throw his side around and get some ball out of the middle.
G. Hocking brilliantly across to McKinnon. Hurd has to sit and wait and does it beautifully.
And this is Kevin Sheedy's usual ploy to put the stop on a run on. James Hurd do centre half back.
Yes, Danaher now looks back towards centre half forward. Harvey off and Long coming on in front of us. Ball kicked forward. One-on-one contest, Scholl and Buick, and the ball heads towards the boundary line and out. Amazingly, in 1897, sorry to do this to you, Gerard, the Cats kicked 24 points, 3 goals, 6 that day for the entire game. They've already got it in 9 minutes, 100 years later.
But I think the field was about 3 miles long in those days, Malcolm.
And in fact played 20 aside. King and O'Connor. O'Connor does well, but gives it off to Tanner. Players at it, long into the action immediately. King wants to go off the ground, then tries to hit it out wide to Mercedes. Cockatoo Collins looks back in towards the middle. Kick doesn't quite find Buick. Has to give it off. Another backward hand pass. They've had to do this 4 or 5 times, Essendon. They're losing ground. Can they set it up this time? They can. Yes, those other handballs have been across half-back and they've been costly. So Mark McCurry with his second set shot at goal. Bit closer in this time. 45-degree angle. He's done exactly the same. He's pulled it to the left. So a disappointing kick there from McCurry. Their second point, Geelong with 4 goals.
Geelong bench about to go for a warm-up. Kilpatrick and Hall and Simpson. So McCurry's missed a couple. That was an important one. They need something to steady up here, giving Geelong a handy start. Barnes, strong mark. Somerville in strong in the back.
And Peter Riccardi is pushed down from the wing, and he now is standing in the goal square alongside Mensch. Here's a replay of this incident. Good work from Barnes being in front, and an excellent kick out, and just a little bit of interest on the side there from Peter Somerville.
Barnes to centre wing. Colbert his target. O'Donnell slipped at the back. Hocking. Still Hocking. Couldn't quite keep it in. Mercedes with him. And Gary will pick himself up. What a career he's had. 3 best and fairest. So close to Brownlow medals. He's polled extremely well over the years. O'Donnell, Sanderson, Colbert, eased it forward, McKinnon. O'Donnell and Colbert there. Denham clever, Mercedes, Doolan in trouble, back to Denham, Normally clever, or Doolan's handball cut off by Tudor, a chance, important ball, standing his ground very well was Pryor, did a wonderful job. Grenvold kicks a beauty to Danaher. They need something from this attack, Essendon. That's an excellent kick to Cummings, well played. And Pryor was the man who stood tall when they needed somebody at the back. Gary Ayres, we saw a moment ago, and Danaher's kick was spot on. And this young man missed a couple in Sydney, but he did kick 3 there. And Cummings has got a good return this season. He's booted 13 from 3. He's had a 6, a 4 and a 3. And the Bombers need this. Tightish angle. Good kick. He's got it. It's a sign of a good player. 1, 2 to 4 goals.
Well, we know he is an excellent kick. He had an aberration last weekend in Sydney when he missed one from 5 metres out. Here's Grenvold bursting out of the centre. Chris Danaher did an excellent job on Nathan Buckley a couple of weeks ago. He's got another pretty big job tonight on Paul Couch. But an excellent kick when one was needed, Bruce. As you say, sign of a good player.
Somerville belts the ball forward 30 metres. O'Connor over it. Socked it off the ground. Comes out to Long. Gets rid of it under pressure. Now taps it back beautifully to Doolan. Comes back inside again. The kick doesn't carry. McGrath comes out to meet it. Punches it aggressively. Long magic on the boundary line. Certainly. Can he set it up? No, he can't. Beautifully read by Sanderson. And Sanderson holds up that attack for the Bombers.
To Barnes, to Scholl. Scholl in the back pocket. Goes to half-back. Finds his man in Tudor. Tudor runs on quickly and now goes to centre wing where Tanner could have a paddock. He can go away here. Lopes away in the end. Directs beautifully to centre half forward. Minch takes a splendid mark. It was a great build-up by the Cats. He hasn't kicked a lot of goals this year, Minch, but he is a goal-kicking forward. Riccardi gives him an option. Could he thump it from 55? He gets under it. It's a floater in the end. Brownless. Now, I hope there's a decision, if not as a goal, but it's going to Essendon, hanging on.
Well, the umpire closer than us, but I'm sure Kevin Sheedy will be a little bit concerned at the distance that Shea Cockatoo Collins is giving Tanner, who has been instrumental in the last few minutes.
McCurry kicks it, and the umpire's bringing it back. And must have been just prior to kicking, so McCurry will take this kick again. Has a player out wide, it's Pryor. Pryor can run. Brownless is after him. Really needs a leading Essendon player. Has one out wide. Couch with Danaher. Keeps his feet. Beautifully stolen by Fraser. Also, again, Couch backs up and Riccardi finds himself now in some space and chips the ball to McKinnon. Back to Riccardi. Minch with his back to the play, so he can't kick it to him. Brownless in front, Fletcher over the top. Hocking very aggressive in his approach to Fletcher, and the ball's forced out of bounds.
Ryan O'Connor at centre-half forward at the moment, Malcolm. Usually he plays in the ruck against Barnes.
Yes, he has done that, Gerard, a few times. It's quite right. So boundary throw in. Sanderson over the pack. Hurd almost. Fraser goes back. They will persist with a handball back. They're going to be in trouble again because it sits beautifully for Minch to Tudor. Oh, out to Barnes. Barnes kicks and has kicked poorly. So almost a wasted opportunity as the ball is now forced over by Denham and Riccardi.
Big miss for Barnesy, 4 goals to 1-2. It's his reaction to the kick, disappointment. He's got the haircut to really go with the night as Simons comes on and Cockatoo Tollins has come off. So Kevin Sheedy agreeing with Gerard Healy's sentiments a moment ago. Good mark after Denham's kick by Danaher. Danaher centering to O'Connor. It's just always going to be a big stretch, but goes again. Rees the ball, but O'Donnell now under pressure. Hocking. It'll be a bounce right in the heart of the centre square. 24-8. Colbert's got a goal. Burns, Tanner and Brownless for Geelong. And Cummings for Essendon.
And Hurd just pushing into the forward line again now for Essendon.
Free kick going to the Cats against O'Connor. Barnes can drive forward. Burns or Pryor. It'll be a free kick. High and over the top. Burns at 52 metres. Riccardi back there. Brownless got up high. Denham may have to concede. He does. It's a behind.
Well, strangely, Denham was the only one at the front of the pack there. Nobody roving the ball for Geelong. Perhaps that was Burns's role, but obviously he was the one kicking the ball down. Had 50 metres to cover, but perhaps a better spot there for Peter Riccardi.
So Pryor kicks into Fraser. Back to Pryor. Now sets up Hurd. Has to go back into the middle because that's where a Bomber player is. And a lovely kick almost to Danaher. King lumbers back. Now they've tapped one back, Geelong. So Sanderson's under pressure and caught. Simons does well in the tackle. Fantastic stuff from Scholl and caught high and paid the free.
Well, Bomber supporters not happy about that, but if you take somebody high, you pay a penalty.
Great mark to Colbert. Enormous pressure from O'Donnell. Fantastic play from the youngster to Hocking. Now caught, ran out of space and almost had to give the ball up. Mercedes did read it beautifully across half back. Now looking towards the boundary line, and the safety of that does he find.
Once again, we're seeing James Hurd running from the half forward line to the half back line, picking up plenty of possessions. But you just get the feeling that if Essendon are going to win this game, they need Hurd to dominate the forward line.
Somerville out of the air, couldn't get a clear kick. Couch was in there. Doolan trying to get through. And is there a blood rule here against O'Donnell? David Howlett calling it. O'Donnell checking where it was, maybe on the back of the arm.
Just back to James Hurd. It's last week he got probably by miles best on the ground.
Sorry, Jared. See how slow he's walking off?
Yeah.
What they're going to do is try and get the coach to set up a player to know where he goes. That's what the hold-up is, trying to... Sometimes you don't see it. Sorry.
No worries. But James Hurd, 30 possessions last week, best on ground. Essendon lose. Maybe he's better having 10 possessions and kicking 7 goals.
Somerville to Couch to Sanderson. Getting touches. High ball or free kick against Brownless, surely. He was a long way up, but interfering. Fletcher's got it. Casual and careless kick, really. But Denham had some space. And now he should be able to set something up. He runs his full measure. That's not a great kick either to centre wing. Danaher read it well. Couchy's got him. Handball by O'Connor, cut off. King under pressure, close to the line. Maybe a bit of an experience there. There was nowhere that ball was going to go except out on the full. There's Brownless going very early on Fletcher. I don't think anyone will ever argue about that one.
It's almost he brought the horse and saddle from out the front there, Bruce.
He
took
sure did. Went for a ride. O'Connor coming inside to centre half forward. Somerville there. Goes early. Danaher attacks. A couple of Geelong players, including Colbert and Tanner, run into him hard and fairly. Out to Mercedes. Good kick to Harvey. Will he go on? Could have almost. This is about his distance. He's going to go short now to Pryor. Gets him. 10 metres closer. More difficult angle. Sometimes the short pass in that situation, you want the next one to be a certain goal, and this one's not quite, is it? It's tantalisingly close. Kick from 40 metres. Essendon coming back at Geelong. It looks good off the boot. It's a goal. So the Bombers coming back. We've seen a couple of occasions tonight where defenders have drifted forward and kicked goals from set shots. It's 14-25.
Well, he's got terrific skills, Michael Pryor, and we just see him executing a lovely set shot. And a particularly good goal when you consider his burst off the half-back line to get it.
Oh, Barnes out the middle. Chips it beautifully to Brewer. Wants to go wide and finds McKinnon. So the left-footed ex-Crow. 60 metres out. It's a lovely long kick. It's right deep. Very deep indeed. I think there's a mark called play on up by David Howlett. The crowd behind the goals are usually pretty good judges, and David Mintz comes up and slams the ball on the ground. And unfortunately, I don't think that the umpire could see that. But David Mintz, a pretty quiet lad. He was pretty upset that he didn't get paid the mark. Brownless hits it back. Stack of players right in the forward pocket, only 15 metres, and here's that mark. That is a clear mark, Gerard.
Well, absolutely. I think man in front, he had first possession and brought it down, and he'd be most irate.
And the irony of it all, Essendon up with a free kick and it goes to Hurd.
Oh,
under pressure, gone. Don't see that too often. Just
it was a
got
strange...
disorientated, didn't he?
He did, because he was clear and he backed into trouble.
Hocking receives it from Brewer, goes to full forward. Riccardi front spot. Fraser punches it away. Tudor. Miss Pickering. Mercedes got hold of it. Cats kicked the first four. Essendon have come back with the next couple. Harvey, who went to the interchange and came back when O'Donnell came off for the blood rule. Harvey, a probing kick. Good one too to Simons. An excellent result. Simons at centre wing. Cummings on a lead. Gets a favourable bounce. Turns McGrath. Then a little left footer. Buick onto it now. He's had to concede too much ground to kick a goal. Under pressure, threw it in the end. No free kick. Simons has handball out wide. Danaher doesn't know whether to kick it or go for goal. He goes for goal. Bouncing ball. He's got it. And the Bombers have charged back now. It's 3-2 to 4-1.
Well, just in the last couple of minutes, the decision's going with the Bombers. Just have a look at this for a throw. That was an absolute beauty. There was another one from Joe. But it didn't perturb Chris Danaher, who just moved around nicely. Did his customary cut to the right and kicked a pretty good goal.
O'Donnell on.
So it's a 5-point ball game. Doolan in the centre. Kicks it out wide. Leading in the race to it is McCurry. Has to wait and prop. O'Donnell back on the ground after the blood rule to Harvey. Here they go back again to Denham. Now he's got some space. Now he can run hard. Looking for the big fellas. Cummings pushes out and has been seen by umpire Gavin Dorr. And Tim McGrath will take the resultant free kick. It was a clear as day push out. Yes, so Tim McGrath comes back into the centre. Wants to use Barnes. Back to McGrath. Essendon didn't really chase hard then. It was all set up for McGrath to kick it long. Brownless early over the back Danaher caught. Players going to ground. It's a bit slippery, the ground. Doolan has to sit and wait over it. Wellman finds some traffic and hurt away.
At centre wing, kicks a beauty to Cummings. They're enjoying this at the moment, Essendon. Couch off the ground, by the way, for Geelong and Kilpatrick on. He can get the distance coming, so goal square is completely vacant. Buick has drawn Shoal away, and there's nobody still in the goal square. Now King coming back with Somerville. There's Buick and Shoal. Heard just the worst for wear from home. Might be winded. Brian Wood out there just having a chat, and he's so important. And so's this young man, the 22-year-old, who kicked 8 goals on this ground in his debut a couple of years ago. He's 52 metres out. He's kicked it magnificently. Suddenly the Bombers have hit the front. The same olds lead the Pivotonians 4-2 to 4-1.
Well, a great comeback by Essendon to now hit the lead, only by a point. But I think where they're catching Geelong out is with the long kick into the forward line. There's been a couple now, one from Harvey and this one from Hurd, kicking through the lines. And the Geelong defenders, right up against the wall, just aren't anticipating that their man will be the one coming in for the chest mark.
So 1 point ball game. Somerville. Barnes with a quick handball. Read by Essendon. Now the ball falls to them. King runs across and chops it out. Does well, the youngster. McKinnon under pressure, has to go for the wide. Boundary line will beat them all. So the noise has really lifted here. There's now 2 sides playing this game in the first few minutes with Geelong scooting away. It was very quiet in spots. Somerville, big fist from behind. Riccardi caught, look for the free. Mercedes back again to Doolan under pressure. Pickering in front, can't get hold of it. Burns. Oh, he now walked into a bit of trouble, and that is a free kick, holding the ball. Call play on advantage. McCurry, clever kick on the outside of the boot to Danaher. This is this long kicking Gerard was talking about. It goes again, almost to Cummins. Great steal there from Shoal. King on the ground, has to wait for it, and back to Sanderson, and relieves towards the middle of the ground.
Puts Kilpatrick under the hammer, and then he should give a free kick away to Mercedes. Look high, the first one, not paid. Riccardi pushes it towards Pickering, concedes, back to Danaher, back to O'Connor, left foot to half forward. Harvey, no, Buick front spot. McCurry didn't have any acceleration, he was flat-footed. Sanderson was there. The handball by Shoal was good. Tanner in the back pocket, squeezed Riccardi, was it a half volley? It was, play on call. Clever Riccardi, back turn beautifully. Steadies on the left leg to centre wing, Burns. Clever player, took the mark. So instinctive, Ronnie Burns. He's working it all out now. Chips, Brownless. There's always a 50-50 ball only. Just set up for Fletcher.
And James Hurd has shown his intent to follow Shane Brewer wherever he goes. And so Gary Ayres has pushed Brewer straight into the goal square, where he can play quite well, but the big bonus there is taking Hurd out of the play.
Oh, edge out. Barnes got rid of Somerville. Burns is tackled. Clever kick from Barnes off the ground, and the mark's been paid to Brownless. So a bit of luck there for the Cats. And Billy, you'd think, kicking from probably 50 metres.
Let's just have a look at that. That is clearly holding the ball.
And there is the siren.
Incorrect disposal. Well, perhaps this is the square up for the Cats.
So Brownless with 1. Kicks right on 50 metres. It's a big kick. And he's hooked it. So would you believe the scores are all tied up? 4-2 apiece, 26. A fantastic first quarter. The first bit, Gerard, won by Geelong. Essendon came back in the second half of it.
Well, obviously, Geelong looked fantastic in the first 5 minutes. They went bang, 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 bang with 4 goals. Then a couple of positional changes by Kevin Sheedy got them into the game. But I thought that Geelong had a couple of opportunities to break it right open. Barnes kicking a deplorable one wide. As we see Gary O'Donnell for the second time this season going over to the umpires just to query a couple of decisions. And whether that results in a turnaround on the free scoreboard, one we'll have to wait and see.
So quarter time, it's Essendon 4-2, Geelong 4-2. The Melbourne Cricket Ground. Somerville, left-hand palm. Hocking went to ground. Essendon came charging back at the end of the opening term. Danaher had a good first quarter, probing kick to the forward pocket. Cummings, well played. McGrath ricochets away. Mercury attacked it strongly. Got a handle. Cummings brilliantly. Buick's good in this situation. He'll wrap it up. In his 150th, his first game for the season, and Cummings did it quite magnificently, and Buick finished it off.
Well, it's a momentous occasion in anybody's career when they come back from a major knee operation. He's had a reconstruction, and after a few games in the seconds, he's back and he's kicked a goal in his first outing, and well, that's just fantastic.
By my reckoning, they've kicked the last 5. Somerville, Harvey now at centre half forward, puts Mercedes under pressure, now goes off the ground. O'Connor took the time to pick it up, gave it beautifully to Pryor. He has got good skills, this kid. Cummings almost, great pressure from McGrath, and then Pryor is grabbed by Pickering and will accept the free kick just outside the 50-metre line.
Well, the scoreboard said it was all squared up at quarter time, but in fact Essendon had all the momentum going their way. So Geelong now have to do the work to just take back a little bit of a hold on the game.
Oh, beautiful kick. Magnificent kick to Buick. There really wasn't enough room there between Burns and Scholl, and somehow or other he found it.
Yeah, we looked like we were going to get the big collision. Buick kept going.
So Darren Buick from 45 metres kicks. He's kicked his second in 2 minutes. And the Bombers punch out that lead to 12 points.
But I think the point you made about the succession of goals, Malcolm, is the vital one. Geelong really were dominant in the first 15 minutes but haven't given a yelp since. And doesn't Darren Buick add a certain bit of class to this side? They're really a different side with Buick and Long back in the lineup. He was a fatal blow for them last year.
It's Bomber Thompson, former captain of the club. He's sitting on 199 games and couldn't play tonight. Be disappointed, but he's pleased with what's happening. Pickering got it from Sanderson. Goes to the pocket. Mensch on the lead. Fair stretch. Wellman with him. Little give. Grenville had to wait. Hocking with him. Off the ground. It's a behind.
It's another one of those back handballs. In slippery conditions, it's just not percentage play often.
There's Lucas, the kid, with Cockatoo, Collins and Denham sitting on the interchange. He had a few touches in the opening term, Denham. 3 kicks and a couple of handballs. Danaher's got it. He was on Hocking Denham, and Hocking had 1 or 2 more. Fraser at half back. It's 6-2 to 4-3. Essendon in front. As Malcolm said, they've kicked the last half a dozen. O'Connor, Colbert, head down, caught one high, felt for it and gets a free kick. Still just 20 years of age, Lee Colbert. His uncle was a wonderful player, Dale Waitman. Brownless, Sanderson at half forward, bringing it right back in, and on his own, Barnes. And O'Donnell disappointed there. He was unable to go with him. He's had some touches as Barnes. 4 marks, 6 kicks, 4 handballs. And Somerville, who was so active early in Sydney last week when we saw him on the Friday night, is yet to have a possession. Well, the Cats now need a goal, and Barnes has pushed it away, hasn't quite made the distance and punched through. And if you think back to that opening term, Gerard, that miss of Barnes, that sort of casual kick in the pocket, would have really given Geelong a huge lead at the time.
I think there was also the incident with David Mensch. There's Barry Stoneham, a late withdrawal from this game. He's just probably doing the smart thing and having another week with a little bit of a thigh strain. Heaven knows he's missed enough footy in the last year or two. And he also adds a significant extra to this Geelong lineup.
Long kick, almost up to centre wing. Harvey goes off the ground. Kilpatrick to try and put some pressure on. Fraser's hip and shoulder. Good, well played, Harvey. A clever play to Doolan, who slipped a couple of times. Mercury put him under pressure. Well done, though, back to Fraser. Centering kick, O'Connor. Punch away at the back was good by Barnes, who's covering some territory. O'Donnell, neat looking kick, and Somerville now has a possession at 50 metres. It's goal kicking ruckman Somerville, but this will be a very good kick. Buick led.
I think in the last couple of minutes they've pushed Somerville to centre half forward, now being picked up by King. Ryan O'Connor up against John Barnes.
Not beyond him here, Somerville. He's averaged close to a goal a match throughout his career. It's a long kick, admittedly, but 52 metres out. He's got the distance, but he has hooked it. And it's a behind. So Essendon's lead is 11 points. They're 6-3 to 4-4 as their famous coach looks on. He's taken them to 3 premierships, Kevin Sheedy. In the long time he's now been at the club.
Scholl, McKinnon over the top, falls to Hocking, wobbles it forward. Great contest there at centre half forward. Colbert runs onto it. Judah has a chance. Now Brownless can't grab hold of it. And Simon's caught under great pressure from behind. Ends up back with Fletcher. And loose Essendon players everywhere. Hurd's on. Now here's a beautiful kick normally. Goes a bit low. There's a half-yard in it.
Dropped it.
Caught. And has been paid, holding the man. So Cummings will take the free kick. You didn't like it, Gerard?
No, I thought he had control of the ball. He just flipped it round the side. He had to be tackled. Let's have a look. He's got hold of the ball. Well,
didn't handle it? No, fair enough. So Cummings with 2 in the first quarter. And this would be a moral blow to Geelong. Kerry Ayres. Yes, it would. When there's a big chance down the other end with Brownless taking a mark, and all of a sudden it's quickly transferred. And perhaps a 50-50 free kick to Cummings. And the young goal kicker, is he the next big hope at Essendon as a full forward? Just drags it across a bit and a point results. So once again the margin back out to 12 points.
Shoulder bring it back in, the designated kicker for Geelong. It's going to go long and in the Mansfield-King direction. King takes it. Mansfield's been reasonably quiet. Hocking to Tanner. Centre half back, kick to half forward. Brownless will be keen to take one. Decides to punch it on. Nobody reading it except Pryor, who's had an excellent match, to Dorlan. Dorlan short to James Hurd at centre wing. Hurd to half forward. Long and Mansfield. Good mark, Mansfield.
we just showed enormous pace there. He was started a yard or so behind Long and then finished with the diving mark.
It's been a great player for the Cats in the last couple of years. AFL All-Australian. Tudor. Burns on the break. Too far for Riccardi. Simons to get back. Got a good bounce. Should do something constructive and kicks it perfectly to Grenvold at half-back. Has Mercury on at centre half-back. Goes in short. Mercury takes the mark. Missed a couple of shots for goal early in the first quarter, but that's all forgiven now as the Bombers are a couple in front. He's kicking to the centre square. Hocking caught up, and Mercedes did beautifully to bring it forward to Harvey. Harvey crouching low, kicks to full forward. McGrath getting back and pushes to the boundary line and out of play. He's such a good player, Harvey. Taken from the ground early, in a bit of strife, comes back, just knows how to work his way into a match, doesn't he? Plays the percentages extremely well.
Yes, indeed. So by 12 points, the Bombers. Boundary throw in, just 20 metres or so round from the Essendon goal. Barnes punches it beautifully towards the boundary, and Mercedes happy to see it over.
Well, Geelong are persisting with Brenton Sanderson on Mark Mercury. He's already had 15 possessions to
Paul Brown and Ben Graham. A couple of Geelong players. Look on.
Actually, when you look at their side, they are missing a number of players from their back line.
So King caught behind this time. Somerville tries to grab hold of it. Hocking, that's a free kick. Call play on. Harvey picks it up. O'Connor, back to Mercedes. And Mercedes kick under enormous pressure. And the ball goes out wide, and a free kick going the way of Scholl. As Cummings pleads his case again. But gee whiz, they never change their mind, do they, the umpires? It really is a waste of breath most of the time.
Great courage by Scholl, and Cummings seemed to have his eyes just for the ball. O'Connor takes the mark. He didn't get a lot of distance, Scholl there, and O'Connor can thump this right back in. Cats haven't kicked a goal for a long time. Whirlman running for O'Connor. O'Connor from 60. Gets it to within 20. Somerville front spot. King at the back. Colbert missed it. Buick and Sanderson. Well played, Sanderson. Scholl tackled. Pickering. Colbert. A cool head needed here. He found it. McGrath on the run. Tudor on the run. A big stretch at centre wing. And some courage and determination by both Tudor and Simons to run it out of play. Let's hope that Tudor's okay. He's picked himself up. So this boundary throw in right in front of the 7 commentary box at the Melbourne Cricket Ground now, and you'll see that both players sliding towards the dugout, and Tudor getting some help from his Geelong officials and teammates. Simon's little give. Geelong looking for a free kick. Tudor pushes forward. But they've suddenly lost their way, the Cats, when they're going forward.
Bruce, that's that play that we talked about on Talking Footy during the week. Why doesn't the other umpire come and help them? That was an obvious free kick there. Last goal, Geelong, 8.5 minutes of the first quarter. But that's the one where a free kick, I reckon, was really on. A boundary throw-in. Big pack of players. Mitch clever in tight. Hocking caught. The intensity's really lifted from the Bombers as the ball kicked off the ground and out of bounds again.
And Paul Couch still on the bench, one of the most creative players Geelong has had in its history. I just wonder if he's injured. Perhaps Dipper can find out for us, but he was taken off the ground after Chris Danaher kicked a goal. But he's such a vital player, he needs to be out there now.
Players working hard for it.
Well, Dipper's just relayed a message to us. He's definitely not injured, Couch. So he's been from the ground for the best part of 25 to 30 minutes.
So bounce again. Hocking. De Brewer will centre it. Is disciplined with his kicking. Brownless with a set. Almost again. Tudor. Surely. The Cats have finally got one. So first goal this quarter to Geelong, and much needed, as we saw that before, since the 8.5 minute mark of that first quarter, and the gap is still only 6 points.
And I think it was Lee Tudor that replaced Paul Couch, so tick that one up to Gary Ayres. But having said that, I think he was taken off just at the start of the Bombers' run. And I think it's too good a player to have there for too long. Great snap, though.
Buick with just a little limp. Let's hope he's okay. He's kicked a couple of goals in this quarter. It's 6-4 to 5-4, so Geelong getting their first since the 8.5 minute mark of the opening term and close the match right back up. They kicked the first 4 tonight. Essendon the next 6. Somerville off the ground. Sorry, Gerard.
Oh, we just saw Ryan O'Connor there just about to tackle John Barnes in the ruck. Bulk versus height.
Denham's come on back onto the ground. Handball was good from Sanderson. McKinnon to fall forward. Hocking at the back. Brownless like a rover. Just tie it up. Scores a level. He's kicked a couple, Billy. He's had a couple of low moments too in the match where he's failed to hold marks, but he has got 2 on the board. He kicked a point on the siren.
Well, we were saying in the first quarter that Geelong needed some rovers, but I didn't expect it to be Bill Brownless. The ball was going for his head. I thought it was going to float over to Gary Hocking. Smart work there from Billy. Martin McKinnon off the ground and Sean Simpson back on. There's Paul Couch on the phone talking to the coach. You'd expect he'd be back on fairly soon.
So the scores are level for the second time. Hurd motors towards goal. Now starting to fade away to the right. McGrath gets his opponent underneath the footy, and a free kick for holding has gone too long. Interesting, some very good half back lines for Geelong have been McGrath and Mansfield. They're both playing on the full back line tonight. There it is, and you'd have to say, for looking at that, that was a free kick. So Michael Long in his comeback game after a nasty ankle injury, become a goal kicker later in his career. Got a very long run up, quite deliberate. Kicks, slips and answers the Geelong goal. So Long gets his first, and the Bombers just moved that 6 points again, Gerard.
Yeah, let's just have a look at the way he does slip over here. He isn't all that well, but by kicking the goal, that certainly would have made any strain he's got a little bit better. But no, he's not in great shape, Michael Long.
Geelong's in a bit of trouble. He's had an ankle injury, remember, and hasn't played for a number of weeks, I think since round 1. And Gerard, we'll get back to that in a moment. Barnes, Mercury, Essendon lead by goal. They're called for the stretcher for Long. Hurd, Colbert, under pressure, Sanderson, away. Tudor's high ball to half forward. Mark taken by Pryor, and Long still in trouble. I think more in the knee rather than the ankle, Gerard. Fletcher couldn't take it.
I think that's what he was grabbing, but the doctor now there, he is allowed to signal for the stretcher, and the trainers are running to the umpires to stop this game.
And it will be in a moment, I would think. Fraser's now stopped as Fraser was going forward with Essendon a goal in front at 7-4 to 6-4, and this is just shocking luck, isn't it? Remember, he had a knee reconstruction, Michael Long, and this is how it happened. Such an innocent aspect of the game, an incident where he's shooting for goal, ironically kicked the goal to put Essendon 6 points in front, and now is going through all sorts of pain as he's lifted onto the stretcher, as his comeback game tonight after having a serious ankle injury. Only had the one game this season, missed a complete season after his brilliant performance in 1993 to win the Norm Smith medal, and his effort in the preliminary final against Adelaide that year was astonishing. And we've all got our fingers crossed here that it's not as serious as it looks. He's one of Essendon's all-time favourite players, I'd say. He is unique in the way he plays the game, and it's a real tragedy to see him going from the ground. Now Shea Cockatoo-Collins coming back on.
And they're heading straight to the interchange room, or the change rooms, not the interchange area. So it's just difficult to know exactly what he's done there. Let's hope it's more of a muscular strain than perhaps a ligament in the knee. It's amazing how often these injuries happen at crucial stages of the game.
Let's have one more look at Long. So we'll see Michael Long, who was kicking from about 25 metres. You can see the side-on shot. See his knee bending and going down.
It's actually gone forward, which is most unusual. I thought he must have slipped,
back, didn't he?
Yeah. So,
it looked to the naked eye, Malcolm, as if both the feet had gone out front, but there it doesn't.
No, he's actually, that knee's gone in the act of kicking. It's just buckled underneath him.
So Long has hands on his head there, and Fraser to pick it back up. So 7-4, 6-4, Cockatoo-Collins on. The Cats also made a change there. Hall coming onto the ground. Hurd, clever. Back to Dorlan from Hurd. Dorlan a floater to full forward. Buick was at the back. Scholl front, good mark. Buick's had 2 fabulous minutes where he kicked 2 goals, but Scholl's done pretty well in the other bits of the game. Pickering, not a lot of possession so far. Such a good worker for the Cats. It was good by Grenvold. Masidi, Simons, a bit too easy actually away from Tudor. Gets it to Pryor, normally direct, goes high. Geelong have got the numbers. Mansfield missed it. Harvey's taken the mark. It's a mark. Play on call. Buick will kick his 3rd. Well, the fluctuating fortunes of footballers, Gerard. One man who's waited for a while to come back has carried from the ground, and another has waited for a long, long time, has kicked 3 goals in a quarter.
Yes, it's been his quarter, hasn't it? Mansfield generally takes those. Mark Harvey, perhaps he didn't hear the umpire blow the whistle, or perhaps the mark wasn't paid, but nevertheless, another goal to Boris.
So that 12-point margin again to the Bombers. Barnes, great tap. Hurd starting to cause some damage through the middle of the ground. A beautiful long kick. Great contest down there. Falls to Mercury, caught, had his play on, socket off the ground. McKinnon having trouble, ball is slippery, caught, great chase, fantastic chase, and the free kick will go to Cummins. So Scott Cummins wants to play on quickly, on the ball falls disappointingly short for Essendon, straight in the arms of Tanner.
The Bombers, couple in front, deep now into the second term, so a vital few minutes for both clubs here. Centre wing Cole, but good take. On quickly to McKinnon. He'd be disappointed a moment ago. His handball was okay. To Tudor, to the pocket. Brownless tries to push Fletcher away. Fletcher's long leg did an excellent job to push the ball forward to half-back. Brewer working it. Tudor, who's a sharpshooter. A bounce. Beautiful play to Brownless, except the kick didn't quite find him. Billy turns his man inside out and kicks his third. Well, his contribution is now becoming significant. Brownless with 3 goals before half-time.
And Lee Tudor just loves that pocket. I think that was the pocket where he snapped one over to Gary Ablett, who threw out the hand of God to get Malcolm Blight into his 3rd grand final. Was it the 3rd?
Yes, it was actually, Gerard.
And doesn't Billy do it beautifully well there? Just a nice little dance around his opponent, and another good goal.
So it's a 6-point ballpark game again, and Geelong won't be denied. O'Connor and Barnes. Falls to Colbert. Tackled from behind, and a free kick against Hurd for a push in the back. So Lee Colbert and James Hurd both doing pretty well for their respective sides. Comes out wide to Brownless. Harvey beautifully read. Great stretch from Mark Harvey. Has O'Donnell wide. And now looks up and chips the ball to Mercury. Players everywhere. Danaher through the middle. Oh, here's a go. The kick only has to be good to Cummings. And it is. Wonderful modern flowing football from the Bombers. And really set up with precision handball and passing.
Yes, he was aiming at the lace, and it was lace up to Cummings, who really does know how to lead, and he's a great kick also most of the time. But the player that really is firing for Essendon, as we see Robert Walls, who played in the Legends game earlier in the afternoon or in the evening, kicked a beautiful goal too, Malcolm. But Mark Mercury is the one who is cutting up Geelong. He's had 18 possessions, and Brenton Sanderson really does either have to tighten up, or in fact Gary Ayres needs to make a move.
So Cummings with this quite long and deliberate approach. He's kicked 15 goals this year so far. It's a long kick. Oh, the goal umpire hasn't moved. It's his 3rd for the night. And the Bombers once again push that lead out to 12 points.
Well, I'd be surprised if it broke out much more than that this evening. Both of these sides are desperate for a win. In particular, Essendon, who are really languishing on the bottom of the pack as far as the ladder is concerned. And you can just see there how difficult it is for a full-back. Once he turns to look at the ball, his opponent can cut and get away from him.
Couple of goals the margin. Essendon in front. Pickering to Mansfield. To Hocking. Hall leading for him now. And so's Brownless. Good kick. He's got it. Could kick the distance, Billy. He's 50 metres out. He'll kick from 52, 53. He's kicked 3 tonight. Missed 1 long shot at the end of the opening term. This to close it again. Close.
Ooh.
Touched. It was very close. Centimetres in it. It's a good kick by Brownless. And there's Billy's biggest fan tonight. I think he likes Gary as well. As Peter Somerville and Scott Lucas are looking on. 9-4-7-5 prior to Wellman.
Harvey at centre half forward now for Essendon, being picked up by Kilpatrick.
Wellman to half back. Fletcher at target. Got over the top of Hall. He's going to be paid. Big stretch by Fletcher. He turned 21 yesterday, Fletcher. He's kicked to centre wing. Mercury, Doolan well trapped. Mercedes, the 1-2 to Doolan. Running away from Mansfield. Kick to the forward pocket. Buick coming back quickly. With him Simpson off the ground, hitting the poster behind. Simpson realising that Buick was right there. Could not afford to make a mistake there.
You saw the pace of Ben Doolan there. He was a sprint champion at school. The Swans were desperate to get him because they knew he was such an athlete, so strong. He finished with the Bombers and is making a name for himself this
Barnes
season.
goes back to Scholl. They're in all sorts of trouble, but Brad Scholl brilliantly spins out of it. Barnes, he really wants to set him up again, and now goes back into the middle of McGrath. They really are trying to give the footy away here. Great skill then for Tanner. Pickering running through the middle. Now goes long. Burns edged out of it by Pryor, who can't grab hold of it, so makes him pay with the possession. To Hocking, kicks it round his body. Here we go, Hurd, under pressure, goes to the ground. Fantastic play from Hurd. Hands and knees, gives it to teammate, and here is O'Connor on a really long lead. Has Somerville going wide, comes back inside, now kicks the ball 55 metres, Flyers want it. Cummings almost, falls to Simpson, caught, grabbed high, Harvey, somehow or other swings it onto his boot. Buick, the goal kicker, racing. Mercury in the goal square by himself, now has to go back and sets up Chris Danaher from 30 metres, and the Bombers have got another one.
It's a big margin in the match so far, out to 18 points. So Danaher with a couple now, Gerard.
Yes, Chris Danaher is a terrific player. He's been a great stalwart for Essendon. And this is smart play once again from Buick. He was setting himself there to go on for the impossible left foot snap, but he got it to Danaher. The high percentage is working now for Essendon.
Couch on the ground. Geelong trail by 3 goals. Couch immediately to Riccardi. Riccardi to the pocket. Brownless goes early. Fletcher with him. Pryor getting back. Will he go to the boundary line? He does, and runs it out. So Geelong need one here. It's been a 6-goal term for Essendon. There's a Minch on the bench and 3 to the Cats. So they've kicked 10 of the last 13 goals, Essendon. That's a bit one-sided, isn't it? 10-3 after Geelong's early assault, where they got a 4-goal break. Wellman, Burns, Wellman on the hands and knees, trying to get it out. Colbert over the top, and the umpire coming in. Mark Nash, and it'll be a bounce about 25 metres from Geelong's goal. Still plenty of time remaining in the second term. It'll be a long one because of Michael Long being carried from the ground. O'Connor coming out. Simons to Somerville at half-back.
Oh, Somerville sets up Simons. He's got to make a decision here. He's never keen to kick it, so he actually comes back. O'Donnell waits for him to chip it on again, and that's the way it goes. Now they can do it again. He really has to decide here. Go long to centre forward, son. He kicks it poorly, and a free kick by Cockatoo Collins off the footy, and Lee Colbert. And I think that standing, Gerard, just causes confusion all up the ground, doesn't it? I mean, I just don't see any sense in it. Never mind. Scholl gets it back from Sanderson, and the running Brad Scholl, Tanner in a lot of space, wants Brownless. What a wonderful kick. So Bill Brownless with 3 goals, 2 in this quarter. Barnesy on the phone. Tanner's a beautiful kick, Grant Tanner, and really did set up, look at that, just fantastic skills. So Billy will kick from 45 metres out, and a much needed goal comes in. The goal umpire starting to move to the right, but everyone's pretty happy, and Geelong have got their 8. So Brownless 4 goals, 3 in this quarter to match Buick at the other end.
Well, they certainly did need that one, and Bill Brownless was up to it. Smart piece of play this. You've sung the praises of this kick. In fact, I didn't think Billy led with great authority, and it was almost as if Tanner sucked him into the area to give it to him, which is an interesting one. Most full forwards desperate to get hold of it. But good to see Brownless leading straight up the middle rather than cutting wide.
O'Connor back there with Brownless, as we saw, 10-5, 8-5. The Cockatoo Collins free kick, costly in the end. Colbert out of the centre. O'Donnell against the tide with Hall. Grenville put his man under a bit of pressure. Free kick to Geelong, throwing. Burns to get it. So now the Cats are coming back. It's been one of those nights, hasn't it? Got a loose man in Brewer, but Burns now committed to probably having a shot. He kicked a goal in the opening term. The 23-year-old in his first season of AFL football. 48 metres out. Long kick. Hooking. Behind. Geelong edge a bit closer now. Michael Long's situation, Dipper.
Yes, Bruce, maybe Gerard can help us here. The news is that he's torn half of his patellar tendon on his right knee.
Well, that's what holds your kneecap onto your leg, so it's a pretty severe injury. And it did remind me of the one in a grand final you played in, Dipper, where Gary Buckenara did it in a similar circumstances and snapped the patellar tendon, which put him out for a hell of a long time. So that is a very severe injury.
Well, that's shocking news for one of the game's greats on this night where we're celebrating 100 seasons of this great game. Grenville to Fletcher at half back. It's been a wonderful night so far, except for that, and a terrific crowd, and they're seeing a really entertaining match. Fletcher's kick, Somerville was held on to Hurd. Fantastic handball. McCurry with skill, turns his man inside out, goes for goal. It's close. Oh, don't you love it when you see something like that?
Well, it was with a capital C, that one. Actually two possessions. Hurd's handball was magnificent. Look at this, hands down. He basically put McCurry into space. Wouldn't even be surprised if McCurry hadn't called for that, because Hurd knew where he was before he took possession of the ball. And an outstanding individual effort and a great game to date by McCurry.
11-5, 8-6, and can I say on a night like tonight he turned on a threepenny bit.
Terrific. Knocked on by Brewer. Beautifully read by Tudor to Burns. Hall got in his way, his teammate, and couldn't get through. Goes back to Brewer, sets up Riccardi. Riccardi from 30 metres out and has kicked the goal, I think. Yes, he has. Much needed one to the Cats.
And they also needed to get Peter Riccardi into the game. They've just experimented with him in the forward pocket for a considerable part of this game. He's played there often before, but they were lucky to get out of this one. It was only one good tackle away from getting that ball back there, Essendon. But here's Riccardi, who's only had 6 possessions to date, getting a big one.
And again, the match closes up just before half-time. 11-5 to 9-6. An opportunity for maybe a late flurry. Doolan's kick out wide to half forward. McCurry's had a fantastic match. Tanner on him now. Kicks towards centre wing, out of play. So in this second term, Essendon's kicked 7 goals 3 and Geelong has kicked 5-4. It's been a high standard, highly entertaining first half of football. 71-60. Buick with 3 goals in this term, and so is Billy Brownless. And that's the half-time siren in a quarter of football where Michael Long unfortunately was carried from the ground with what looks to be a serious knee injury. But the Cats did pretty well in the end, I think, Gerard, because Essendon looked as if they could go in with a 4 or 5 goal lead halfway through that term.
Yes, it was a quick possession out of the middle, and also the fact that Bill Brownless got hold of it a couple of times within scoring range and kicked truly, that they got the last 2 or 3 goals in the quarter to bring themselves right back into it. Paul Couch, I think, his body language and his physical presence in the middle of the ground, the last couple of bounce downs where he just charged at the football, I think really helped Geelong get themselves back on track. So the game set up. You can see Gary O'Donnell leading the charges and also the Cats going off the ground.
Yes, look at O'Donnell.
I think he might be talking about second half fade outs.
He's really gearing them up, isn't he? The captain leading from the front at half-time. Essendon lead Geelong in this historic match, 11 goals 5 to 9 goals 6. Half for Essendon. If they faded out here, it could have dramatic consequences for the rest of the season. They haven't won a second half this year, Essendon, and they lead 11-5 to 9-6. We saw Gary O'Donnell jeering them up before half-time. Somerville, Hocking, Colbert to Scholl. Now straightens the body to full forward. Brownless, who had a very good first half. Good stretch. Pickering looking for a free kick. Couldn't quite conjure one. Barnes off one leg, gets it back. It's all Geelong. A certain goal coming up. Pickering got back and took the mark. Not a bomber in sight, and cats everywhere.
Had a pretty quiet first half for Liam Pickering, who averaged around the 25 to 27 mark per game, and he's only had 6 possessions to date. Billy not able to grab hold of that one, but good work here from Barnesy, who just picked the ball up, hoofed it forward, and Geelong with a couple there.
Pickering kicks the goal. So the game gets closer again. Tightens a little screw into 10-6 to 11-5.
A couple of interesting matchups now at the other end of the ground as Bobby Davis is just perusing, and he's also picked up the imbalance at the other end of the ground with Ryan O'Connor and Brenton Sanderson. One's usually Brenton Sanderson normally picks up a Darren Buick type, who's now being picked up by Glenn Kilpatrick, his former teammate. But Sanderson on O'Connor is, well, it's really a mismatch.
So Minch, Somerville again gets a tap to Masidi, throws it onto the boot, falls into open territory. Coming out to meet it is getting underneath at Hurd. Now back to Hurd, turns, certain goal. So the Bombers with a quick reply from James Hurd with that quick kick out of the centre, and eventually fell his way for a pretty simple goal for a lad of his skills.
Yeah, there wasn't much in this one. Hurd just second position, read at best. Simpson went to ground, but he didn't trap the football. And as Murphy's law dictates, that usually goes to your man.
(12-5, 10-6). Hurd's first goal for the match, but he has been good. Couch out of the centre, floated a half forward. Grenvold there with Brewer, who Hurd had in the opening half when things were not going well in the opening term particularly. Doolin got it to O'Donnell and then went back to Hocking to have a word. McCurry's been great. Masidi, good kick. He kept it low. It was a very difficult one for Sanderson to do much about. O'Connor took it on his chest. Cummings leads. O'Connor holding on to it for the moment. Hurd provides a lead. O'Connor gesturing that he'll kick the ball long to the goal square. It's in that direction. Cockatoo, Collins through his fingers. Minch gets down low, waits the handball perfectly to Simpson, who comes across from the back pocket to centre wing. In front, Barnes. Fletcher worked him under it. Fraser gets back onto the football, runs away as he so often does, goes to centre half forward, sets Somerville up. Should have taken the mark straight through the fingers. Now a hard ball to win. Geelong will hold it up, and it'll be a bounce about 40 metres from goal. Bit of dew out there, maybe a slippery ball, not easy to take, but Peter Somerville will be a bit disappointed. Had the chance. David Howlett, Mark Nash, Gavin Dorr, our umpires. 77 to 66 the score. Simpson had his arm held. Little give to Hocking. Hocking on the up. Minch swings it, and now Tanner comes away, gives it to Colbert in the corridor. Colbert goes on Riccardi.
And Riccardi out wide. Terrific lead from Scholl, now playing up forward. So Brett Scholl has to hold things up as the Bomber defence closes in. Kicks back, beautiful kick to Brownless. Billy's got 4. And wonderful rebound play again from the Cats. And really a lot of space out there for Billy. Gerard?
Wasn't there, with a football coming over towards the members wing. The entirety of the half-forward flank on the Great Southern stand side was open, and a good kick found Brownless.
Billy kicks, starting to drift off to the right, and that is a disappointing miss. His third point for Brownless, 4 goals, 3. And as you see, Wellman really just didn't cover him at all.
Well, he was once again, he was looking for his man. As soon as he turned his back, off went Billy.
The margin now 10 points in favour of the Bombers.
7 shots for goal, Brownless. 4-3 the result. Fletcher now being asked by the umpire. Goes long and kicks it very long. into the centre square. Somerville and Barnes on the ground. Riccardi to Hocking. Hocking goes back. Pickering, I should say, to Couch from 55. Not going to get there. Fletcher back. He's got it. Quickly plays on. Simons waits. Gives it up to Whirlman. Runs away at half-back to centre wing. Good mark. No, not paid Somerville. He had a fair bit of it then. Awkwardly off the ground. Pickering couldn't hold it. The ball a bit slippery. Barnes, Hocking caught. Got it away though. Back to Pickering. Important he's starting to get touches. To Tudor at half forward. Geelong mounting a challenge. They trail by 10 points. Inboard. Awkward kick by Colbert. Half ball. 50-50. Riccardi brilliant. What a goal this will be. Magic. Brilliant goal to Riccardi. And Geelong within 4 points, 12-5, 11-7.
Well, we're seeing some fantastic football here. Peter Riccardi, what a great performance. Now, it all came about because Liam Pickering got himself off the ground and gave Buddha Hocking an option to handball way back on the wing. But here we see the finish of it. Threads his way through 3 players and a great finish.
Oh, great tap from Somerville. Mercedes sandwich, and it falls to Tanner. And these two very evenly matched sides we thought before the start of the game, and it's certainly turning out that way. Scholl has Couch, kicks, and is just marked inside the line as Riccardi. So very attacking game.
It's good to see the Scholl didn't wear his 100-year-old underpants there.
Simons from the side, that's a very good mark. Now, he usually wants to play on. He doesn't like to kick the ball long, and he doesn't this time either. He goes across to Somerville. Wants to draw a player. Now he can, and it's gone out to Wellman. Wellman chips. Oh, it's a terrible kick. Oh, it's found Tanner. Oh, this could be a costly turnover. Riccardi's there again in a purple patch. Wants to play on. Uses Tudor. Tudor swings onto the left foot and just misses. So pretty cheeky play there from Peter Riccardi to really bolt with the Essendon player right on him.
He is hot, Riccardi, but just playing on there put so much pressure on Tudor when they were in a scoring position. So they didn't pay the full penalty there, the Bombers, after Wellman's mistake. Somerville short. It's been a match of ebbs and flows, and right now Geelong have got some steam up. Back to Somerville. It's 12-5 to 8-8. Essendon leading. Somerville to centre wing. A pack develops. O'Connor was there. McCurry couldn't quite take it. O'Donnell's handball's a beauty to Masidi. Quick kick. Cockatoo Collins at the back. Oh, splendid mark. That's a great skill of our game. And Mansfield was at his best as he kicks out wide. Coming back, is it? He's going to kick over the mark. Colbert and O'Donnell together. Great mark, wasn't it, by Mansfield? Under pressure there, Scott Lucas.
See, he was 1 metre or 2 metres offline, and I mean, it really has stopped the flow of the game, hasn't it? I mean, that's just over umpiring, I think.
Big bonus for Essendon.
In short, Simpson presented himself, then uses the running McGrath. Good kick to Tudor. To Mensch. High ball. Brownless being held on to, takes a very good mark. That was a terrific effort by Billy. Called to play on. Left foot. It's a goal, I think. He's got it. Billy's kicked 5. The Cats are back in front. For the first time, I'd say since very late in the first quarter. Now the umpire talking to Brownless.
Well, I think they must be explaining why he played on under very unusual circumstances. We saw Peter Riccardi only a couple of minutes ago do it. Flicks the ball out the back to let us know he's marked it, which was good. And then charges off.
Somerville again with a big jump. And a free kick going to Denham. So the Bombers just need to arrest this now. Off to Harvey. Harvey goes long. O'Connor can't get hold of it. The ball is slippery. Falls back to Couch. Couch goes out wide. Denham will be first there. Will it stay in? Great shepherd from behind on Hocking by Doolan. Comes back inside and a big fist away from Sanderson. O'Connor catches Colbert. See, there's enough Bombers there. To Harvey again. Great kick around the corner. And Masidi by himself. Wants McCurry. Has McCurry. and has now ignored him. So Joe Mercedes, young bomber, playing his 70th game. Will kick from just inside 50. It's a reasonably long kick of the footy. That's a beautiful kick. They're back in front, the Bombers. This is a great game.
Well, you got it in one there, Blighty. It is a terrific game, and we're seeing fantastic individual performances leading to some fairly exciting goals. And he took the responsibility in the finish, Joe Mercedes. Didn't try to lay it off. And importantly, he put one straight through the big sticks.
Essendon back in front, 3 points. Brewer from the centre. Doolan all over the top of him. Then Colbert there, and again Doolan.
Looks like Darren Buick coming off the ground. Still got that little bit of a limp up.
3 goals in the second term, Buick, and Lucas coming on for just his second game, the 18-year-old. Now there's a free kick going to Essendon here to Mercury. Had a huge first half, Mercury. Kicks to full forward, Cummings on a leg, good mark. Some positive football again by Essendon. Long kicking has been their trademark, particularly in the opening term when they charged back at Geelong. And Mercury's been able to spot him from a long way away and get him.
He's a much better mark like this, Gerard. Not so much a high jump, but the eyes out in front rather than up high.
A bit like the Terry Danaher of old.
Yes.
Taking it out in front of the eyes, probably the hardest position to mark the football. But they're a real paradox, Essendon. Chipping the ball round in defence, but the long bombs going past the centre.
Going for his 4th goal. Kicking from about 49. Looks good. He's got it. He looks their answer, doesn't he? Long term at full forward. He's just 22 years of age, and he's now kicked 17 goals, and this is his 4th match only for the season.
Well, they certainly did lose a significant full forward when Paul Salmon went to Hawthorn. No doubt that despite the fact that his return on goals hasn't been great in the last year or so, he still was the most difficult player to match up on in the league.
Mercedes caught underneath it, and eventually the ball falls back to him. He tries to burst through. Harvey gives it away. Tudor with the dash, can't control it. Now under pressure. Great handball to Brewer. Brewer handballs it back in front of himself. Now takes them on. Mercedes with a sensational tackle. 3 efforts from Joe Mercedes has turned this footy back in Essendon's favour. To Pryor. The kick will find Midge. Disappointing. Great quick handball to Colbert.
And Colbert away. Running very wide, unfortunately, for Geelong, but brings us back cleverly. Hall from 40 metres out. Misses. Off target or behind. Barnes was there as well, waiting. I think it was Barnes. It might have even been Brownless. It was Billy. There's Buick. Let's hope he's okay. Dipper's not too far away. We'll get a report. Some strapping going out there. 14-5, 12-9. Repeating if you've just joined us. Michael Long left the ground with a serious knee injury in the second term. McKinnon could have used the handball. It's hugging the boundary line and coming back. Brownless and Simons punts it away out of play. Dipper, what about Darren Buick?
News is nothing to do with his knee. He's just received a very heavy kick in the shin of his other leg.
Well, that's good news. 14-5 to 12-9. Bombers leading in what's been a terrific match. Somerville down. Hocking looked for a free kick. Mercury cheekily in the end, actually, the way he paved his way through to Simons. Fletcher saying, come on, give me something to kick to. Bangs it out wide. Lucas has just come onto the ground. A loose ball to be won here. Grenville toe pokes it towards the boundary line. Gives himself a chance. Needs a shepherd. Brings it back to O'Donnell. Tanner pushed him underneath cleverly. Mercury worried out of it. Tanner's handball good. Tudor. Hall chips cleverly to Ronnie Burns, who's just come onto the ground. That's a very good piece of play by Geelong because Essendon looked in the box seat. He's a long kick, Burns. This will take something rather remarkable from way out there. He's kicked a goal, and in the first term, Cats needing one just to close it again. 48 metres out. And that's a good kick. That's a great kick. 2 goals to Burns, and this match continues to grow. It deserves a classic with the way it's been promoted by the AFL and the response from the Melbourne public, and they might get one.
Well, it was anybody's ball there for a couple of possessions on the wing, and finally Geelong, who got more numbers to the footy, came up with it. And he's one of the most exciting new players to come on the scene, Ronnie Burns. He's got it all.
Free kick in the middle will go to David Minch. Somerville used his hand on Minch's shoulder to get up at that centre bounce. And he'll now have to come back and kick it from the centre circle. So Minch doesn't quite hit it right and it falls short. Grenvold in front. Colbert stole it. Brownless lead, so there's a gap at the back. He's gone for the goals. The ball is running, and it's through! And a miracle goal for the Cats. They've hit the front again. So Lee Colbert really did size up his options, and Gerard, it was just fantastic. The goal square was open.
Yes, well, he was almost going for Brownless, who had led to the right of the screen, the same place he got it last time. But Colbert just saw the open square, took the punt, and finished with a great goal.
Geelong back in front. 14-9 to 14-5. Essendon come out of the centre. Harvey was going one way and the ball the other. Mansfield. Cockatoo Collins has had a quiet one. Well played, Mansfield. Pickering. Tanner. Miss Brewer. Needs a good bounce. Gets it. Takes his man on. Couldn't get his kick. Good tackling. McCurry. Off the ground. Brewer. A long way off the ground. And at half forward left, it goes out of play.
Chris, I must admit, I coached a game similar to this against Essendon when Ablett kicked 14 and Salmon 10, and it was really a goal fest at the MCG. It's certainly not as high a scores today, but it's similar type footy.
And just continues to build, doesn't it? It's been a wonderful quarter of football. Big fist away, Burns, and Pryor with him, just letting him know. And again, a boundary throw in. Gary Ayres, who had a 4-goal lead early with his team. They saw that eroded. There's John Kennedy, the chairman of the AFL Commission, and one of the greatest names in our game. I reckon tonight, Gerard, he'll say, good sizzle, and the sausage was pretty good too. Remember that famous comment?
No doubt about that.
After that, the state of origin in rugby league. Francis Burke, what a tiger he was. And his son at the club now. Again, it's going to be a bounce with a huge crowd in here. It must be over 70,000 and close to 80. Gary Ablett and Lee Matthews and David Parkin behind, and Doug Wade in front. What a collection of football talent there.
A couple of goals there.
It sends shivers up your spine just to look at them sitting there and watching on.
About 2,000 goals and 4 handballs amongst those.
Heard away. Centre wing, Buick back on the ground. Good news for Essendon. Hard ball, O'Donnell did well. Lucas, the 18-year-old, got to get a handle on it. He does now, centre wing, he's in trouble. Gone. Had a man there, didn't use him, O'Donnell. Geelong get it, come away. Hall. Simons to get back, shoulder pressure him. Tudor works for a free. Simons, Hocking. Slung it away. Grenvold gone. Probably a good decision.
I think the umpires have really got hold of this handball, holding the ball decision. There's still the odd mistake, as we've all seen, but in general, they are doing it pretty well right now.
Chris Danaher warming up there. Barnes used his body well. Falls to Pryor. Quite an impressive youngster. Kick. Oh, that's better, son. That is fantastic. Now go back, 2 kicks have gone out there and he's just lost it. Onto Mercedes. Mansfield reads it beautifully in front of Buick. Doesn't look right. McGrath off to Sanderson. And the kick falls short, back to Mercedes. So Joe Mercedes has a chance. The Bombers. Not a lot of willing workers in the Essendon forward line. Not a lot leading. Over the back, and Pickering there to mop up. Just kicks quietly around his body. Masudi comes over the top of Riccardi and is quite happy to see it out.
11 kicks, 7 handballs for Masudi. Goal in this term was vital. Long kick from 50 metres. 89-93 the score. Geelong back in front. Quick kick by Denham to half forward. O'Connor got a reasonable bounce. Tanner back. Well done, Pickering. Couldn't hold it. Sanderson, not easy, as we've said a few times tonight. Hall, back turns. Then the little giveaway to Tanner, to Pickering. Had to be accurate. Found Riccardi, who had a burst in this quarter that really gave Geelong some spark. Kicked an outstanding goal. On his non-preferred, just casually gives it to Sanderson, who gave the ball up a moment ago, so he wants to kick this one more accurately. Pickering getting some touches in midfield and off the half-back. Goes to centre half forward, big fly. Oh, Barnes should have not paid. Yes, it is.
Yeah, good move from Gary Ayres. He's had Barnes down on the forward line, and here's a 50 for an errant handball, and that just about seals the goal. But Barnes' height has added to the woes of Essendon, starting to stretch their defensive players, or defensive unit. 7 marks now he's taken, and this one should result in a goal. He's had a pretty good game, Mel.
Yeah, I'd agree. Just Wellman and Fletcher, they've swapped around a bit and just got it up. He is a lovely mark, given the chance.
This to stretch Geelong's lead now. Barnes from point-blank range. Umpire makes a lot of ground. Brownless likes it. It's a goal. Barnes is first. And the Cats have had a run on. They've kicked the last 3 goals in the match and now lead 15-9 to 14-5.
Well, this is the setup once again. They just chipped it around, but finally they elected to go for the big one to centre half forward. And it was 3/4 of a mark, but maybe not a full one.
Amazingly, Geelong in front by 10 points. The Bombers, as we've so often mentioned, their second half fade-outs really need to stem this flow from the Cats now. Hocking, always a willing worker.
Geez, it was great work. He's just bulldozing his way forward there. The Cats have only made 15 metres, but it's basically been all due to Gary Hocking's tenacious work in there.
So 20 players around this ball. It's hit wide. Really should favour Essendon. Doesn't. They've won it back beautifully, Geelong. And now pushed back in. So 50-50 again. And no side willing to give any quarter. Former teammates Denham and G. Hocking. So bouncing the side to centre square again. Riccardi with the ruck work. Burns. That is unbelievable. Somehow or other got it out underground. Barnes uses his body well to get Wellman out of the way. Now Couch off the ground. Running out at Scholl, ran at it hard. So did Doolan. Masudi props. Great block from Doolan. Chips the ball. Doolan's still in the play. Terrific stuff. And Sanderson comes late. 50-metre penalty. I'm not quite sure if it was that aggressive. It was really just a run into. Marks. Yeah, to the naked eye, actually didn't look that quick that he did it, but nevertheless 50 metres. And he was unprotected, Doolan. So he's paid the price. He's not confident with the distance. He's gone a couple of times to go to chip it. I don't know why he's not. He's not confident with his accuracy, that's why. He's hit the post. And another miss, you'd say, Gerard, that's just needed to stem that momentum that Geelong have got.
And I don't think there's any doubt that in the back of every Essendon player's mind would be what's happened in the last month. And at the front of every mind of the Geelong players would be the same situation. If they just keep on applying the gas, the Bombers might fall over.
Mansfield took the kick in and then pushes it towards Hall. Goes to ground, got rid of it. Grenvald. And out of play. Well, O'Donnell really made the point, didn't he, at half-time when he talked to his players and rev them up. Gary Ayres leaning back a bit. The pressure coach must go through in a match like this, where you're up and then you're down and then you're struggling, and suddenly you find form and rhythm. One move can make a huge difference. Just the balance of a game can swing in a moment or two. Somerville's kicked the centre half forward. Sanderson worked O'Connor under the ball. Pickering getting kicks. Back into the centre. O'Donnell courageously. Sanderson well played to Brewer on the burst. Geelong. Tudor and Simons. What an important ball this is. Tudor works it in front. Goes to ground. Simons tackles him now. Play on call. Simons has it. He'll have to give it off. Under pressure. Left foot misses the lot. Had Mercury and Harvey down the ground. Out of bounds on the fall. Don't see him on his left too often.
It was bad luck for Simon, so he did very well. Tudor eventually finally went to the ground. He battled against it. You could see him saying to himself, I'm not going to go down, but finally he did, and he gave away the football. But Geelong have been excellent just in the way they've been knocking the ball on. They've had a number of clearances from defence, just with desperate punches.
Tanner, who's done a good job on Mercury. Kick to Colbert.
I think Simpson on Hurd in this quarter also has been a pretty good move for Geelong.
And he stayed mainly there too, Gerard, at centre half forward. Fletcher from behind with a big fist. And gets the desired result towards the boundary line. Lucas, for some unknown reason, tried to keep it in, and just inexperience from the young Scott Lucas 3 or 4 times now has cost the Bombers a few times. Couch. Falls over the back to Brownless. On to Hocking. Hocking, great desperation. Oh! Gee, Hocking, 1 goal, a miracle kick.
Something about that end, isn't there? There have been some of the best goals we've seen for the season, and that was just extraordinary. Once again, it was from a John Barnes tap. Pretty ordinary kick out of bounds by Lucas. But there's that, well, it was in fact Brownless. Have a look at this. Classic.
What a great shot from our 7 cameras too. Capturing a magic moment in the match. Couch. Geelong have stretched this lead, haven't they? 16-9, 14-6. Not a long time to go now in this third term. Grenville, Tudor. So the Cats have kicked 7. And Essendon's kicked 3.
It's amazing, and I was almost applauding Hurd for that great smother he did. Dick Reynolds there, just on left of screen with his hand moving, and Hocking did something unbelievable.
Yes, he rose to the challenge, and the challenge from Hurd is always a good one. Scholl holding the ball.
He was in the proverbial no man's land there. He didn't want to handball it over the boundary line because it's deliberate, but he knew he had to get rid of it. And there you can see him in 2 minds, and then in the end he gave up and said, OK, fair enough, have a kick, Joe.
And that's what Smokin' Joe's going to do from centre wing. But they're a long way from the Bombers' goal, and they need one before 3/4 time. O'Connor was at the back. Somerville going to be paid to an Essendon player. Somerville's got it. Still a long way from home. Essendon needing some positive play here. Cummings provided one option. Somerville's about 80 metres from goal. It's taking an awful long time. It's late in this third quarter. High ball now, gets to within about 25 metres. O'Connor at the back, Cummings roving. Gives a handball off to Buick. Normally brilliant. He's kicked his 4th. It's what the match needed. A late Essendon goal to give them momentum and close it again. 15-6, 16-9. Buick back on. Good handball out. The sharpshooter turned and kicked a goal with his left foot.
Well, Somerville received from Masidi, who's had 10 possessions in this quarter, doing his bit. And once again, we see a great individual performance. Cummings onto Buick. Regulation snap.
16-9 to 15-6. Very late in this third term. McCarty off the ground to the boundary line. Rolling, rolling, rolling. And out of play. A very important goal to Essendon. It gives them a lot to think about at 3/4 time. Kevin Sheedy coming down for his 3/4 time address. Fraser away. Kicks to full forward, the siren sounds, the umpires heard it. There'll be no score registered, and Geelong will take a 9-point lead into the final term after they had the best of the third quarter when they kicked 7 goals. Brownless has 5 for the Cats for the match. A couple to Colbert, a couple to Burns, and a couple to Riccardi. And for Essendon, Buick's got 4, and Cummings also has 4.
Yes, and every player hates it when you see an opportunity go begging because the siren blew just a second or two too early. And that one did cost Essendon because they were running in for a goal. But a great performance by Geelong to take back the momentum from Essendon and kick some fantastic goals. They really did once again control the middle of the ground, where it was only Joe Mercedes for Essendon who gave some sort of resistance. But the likes of Tanner in that quarter with 7 possessions, and Lee Colbert with also 7 possessions. Riccardi in a flash got his 6 possessions. And I think if Peter Riccardi can find 10 minutes more of football where he dominates this game, then Geelong will probably go on and win it. He seems to be the catalyst. But right at the present time, that is the furthest thing from Kevin Sheedy's mind.
Scores at three-quarter time. Geelong lead by 9 points, 16-9 to 15-6. In a party mood, and they're seeing a great game of football. 15-6 to 16-9. Bombers to the left of screen. Hurd again in the centre square. Somerville, Mercedes. Hurd, who needs to get a lot of touches, you think, for Essendon to win. Sanderson, quick kick by Simpson. Danaher, who was on the interchange in the third term, swings it out to Harvey. It was a good handball. Harvey away from half back to centre half forward. Connor, big leap, good mark in the front spot. They needed a positive start, Essendon. They trailed by 15 points late in the third quarter, got it back to 9, and need the opening goal. He was all right, Danaher, too, in the opening half, wasn't he, with a couple of goals?
Yeah, he's been a pretty good player, but this was always going to hurt them. Ryan O'Connor had to expose his opponent eventually for height, and Sanderson just a little bit too far behind that time.
Kicks from him just outside 50. He's hooked it and missed. Going for that little bit extra distance, and if someone's going to miss from a long way out, 9 times out of 10 is with a little hook, trying that extra. There's Sean Wellman. 15-7, 16-9, so the opening goal still to be got in this final term. Sanderson to bring the ball back in.
See the zone setups there. Sanderson trying to find a hole in them. Now is forced to go long. In front of the great Southern stand. Hurd, almost. Barnes knocks it on to Hocking. Great pickup in the conditions. Brewer, it's actually Barnes wants him. Kicks out wide to Hall. Knew the player was there, just felt Couch. Great awareness. Kicks into Brownless. Fletcher puts him underneath it. And O'Donnell gives it off to Doolan. And Doolan goes back to the middle of the ground and finds McCurry. Trying to draw the player. Great chase from behind, almost caught. Players are again. O'Connor stands tall right on the 50-metre line. Wants to play on to Denham. Runs into trouble. Gone. And holding the ball is awarded to Grant Tanner from the back of the square.
And he gives it off to Hocking. Hocking's kick first class to Sanderson at centre wing. McGrath. Neat. Scholl. So a steady build up by Geelong. Hall running for Scholl if he wants him. Comes inboard. Mensch. Bombs away a bit, but gives Barnes every opportunity. It took forever to get there, but he was always the only man in the box seat. Mensch finding another tall in Barnes.
And it may just prove to be a big plus that Mensch has come onto the ground, a tallish player with fresh legs, because the other guys have been really having a hard slog up and down the ground. They've done a fair bit of running. Barnes has been in the forward line a fair bit tonight.
This to pinch a very handy break from 45 metres out as a goal. 2 second-half goals to John Barnes in that forward role. And Geelong a 17-9, Essendon 15-7.
Well, from all reports, John Barnes did particularly well last week against Corey McKernan, but I think his effort tonight signifies or signals that he is back in form. He's probably in the best 3 players on the ground tonight, and a very good goal when needed.
Couch gets a quick kick out the middle. Under pressure is Harvey from the tackle from Brownless and manages to wobble it towards the boundary line. Doolan wants to try and keep it in or show the umpire that he's tried to do that. And the Cats by 14 points. And the important first goal of the last quarter. As we see Michael Tuck, Peter McKenna behind him, Kelvin Moore and Jack Clark. Great players. Tap over the back to Burns. In underneath most players, and Denham and G. Hocking want the football.
But once again, it was Paul Couch that got the ball out of the centre. I'd like to know how many goals Essendon have kicked tonight with Couch on the ground.
Barnes. Brewer trying to work his magic through the pack, but held up, and another bounce will result.
Somerville coming off the ground for Lucas.
So David Howlett puts it down. Harvey really under trouble. Brewer, left foot snap. Oh, don't tell me. It's hit the post.
It has been one of those nights.
So Shane Brewer with a quick snap, and the margin, as Barry Stoneham looks on quite inquisitively.
17-10 to 15-7, so it's a 15-point margin. Fletcher in a bit of strife, but back to Mercedes. Mercedes goes to centre wing. Simons had a lot of it not paid. Pickering with him. Simons and Burns have got numbers, Essendon, but they can't do anything constructive with it. Harvey forced to go to the line and out of play. Well, Kevin Sheedy knows the consequences better than any of us. A loss tonight would be very damaging. Essendon hasn't won since they beat West Coast in round 3. On 3 matches going in without a win. Hocking on the up. Fraser's quick kick back. Simons. Well done, Lucas to Shepherd. Simons short. Didn't quite get to O'Connor. Back to Simons. Mercury off the ground. Free kick coming back to Essendon. Simons has got it at centre wing. He'll probably give off. He does. Here's Pryor. Normally a good kick. Wide. Cockatoo Collins has hardly had a touch. Got one there, but couldn't hold the mark. Colbert too easily away to the space and kicked it superbly to run it to the boundary line and out of play.
And Ryan O'Connor has, well, let's have a look at this bit of body work here. Colbert just a little bit too strong and too tall. Ryan O'Connor, a new opponent now, Derek Hall, who plays a bit taller than Brenton Sanderson.
So Barnes really killing him with this ruck work, but this is his opponent in Harvey. Down to O'Donnell. Has to kick onto his right foot. Over the back to O'Connor, solidly met by Brewer, falls to Pryor. Now Pryor from 65 metres out kicks over the back. Buick, certain goal. Oh, the Bombers are back in this. Scotty's 5th, Darren Buick. Well, they won't be denied. 9-point margin, the same at 3/4 time, and 5 goals. Pretty handy effort.
It was a classic Darren Buick goal. He led his player to the ball. He jumped and went for it. Buick stayed on the ground. Michael Mansfield doesn't often miss those. And Buick just walked in for an easy one.
(17-10, 16-7). Buick 5 goals in his first match of the season. His 150th game. Free kick Geelong. Hocking doing well, particularly in the second half. Riccardi running away. Out wide to half forward. A bit of a blaze. Burns always a danger. Doolan with him. Doolan forcing to the line out of play. Our statisticians worked out the answer to your puzzle, Gerard. 7 goals were kicked by Essendon with Couch off the ground. And it was a time where Essendon were on top. The boundary throw in. Barnes laid it down. Couch again tried to get the kick away. Tudor, Simpson, they just conceded. Mercedes tried. Mercury, very well done. Pryor, an important player. Centering kick. This will be interesting. McGrath hard. Cummings. Still Cummings. Sanderson. He's going to get a free kick. Cummings. Hanging on. And he can kick this. I know he's a long way out and they're getting tired, but he could kick this. He has got 4. That man's got 5, so they've got 9 between them from their key forwards.
And this just in the finish ended up undisciplined play from McGrath. Just had to sweat on him rather than losing his cool and giving the free kick away.
Cummings going for goal number 5. Kicks from about 55 metres out. He's hooked like O'Connor did. And a behind. So 4-2 to Cummings tonight. Essendon 16-8. Geelong 17-10. Most of the goals have been kicked to left of screen this evening. Wellman and Somerville. Remember that Michael Long was taken from the ground on a stretcher. Tanner got it short from Sanderson.
And he goes short also to Hall. So they've worked it getting close to the 50-metre line. Now he wants Minch. And so the zone play works pretty well. And the chip also to Pickering. Once again short and Colbert. Mansfield has to run now. Enormous pressure. Fraser has Denham inside. Now we go back with the chips to O'Connor. He's in trouble now. McCarty's got him. Great turnover here for the Cats. Kicks the ball forward. Grenville has to sit and wait. Taps it back in the O'Donnell direction. Has Simons out wide, and once again, so about 10 or 12 possessions there, and we really haven't got anywhere, just between half forward and half back. Denham now plays on. Cockatoo Collins. Great fist from Sanderson. Terrific handball from Hurd. Cockatoo Collins is from space. So's Mercury. And Mercury accepts it some 45 metres from goal. Will kick from just inside 50. So a lot of short passing there, Gerard. A lot of players just getting free from that kick out.
Well, we saw Geelong possession football taking it out of defence, and it does work if the kicks are spot on. But Essendon replying in kind.
And Mercury has kicked to the goal-kicking Darren Buick. 5 goals straight. 3 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the fourth.
Would you consider this a percentage kick, Malcolm?
No.
Didn't Buick work Hall brilliantly there? It was a great mark in the end.
Great adjustment. And good players do it, don't they? Now on a very tight angle. Kicks. Oh, the goal umpire hasn't moved again, so the Bombers are now within 3 points of the Cats. 6 goals to Darren Buick out of 17, and a wonderful return to AFL footy on this centenary night.
Well, his performance once again, and this was good percentage football from Mercury. His performance, I think, tonight just establishes what Essendon had been missing all of last season. Just that guy that can pick up the crumb and kick that miraculous goal.
Back to 2 points. Buick with 6 goals tonight. Colbert out of the centre. Geelong in front. Brownless in the front spot. Burns, this is where he can be very dangerous. Doolan just got rid of him. Burns to chase. Doolan kept his head. Found O'Donnell getting a few touches in the match now. Essendon trailing by 2 points. They led at half-time by 11. They haven't won a last half, I should say, all season. Harvey. Good kick to Pryor, who's had a very big last quarter. Lucas asking to get it on. Pryor's kick finds him now. Lucas at centre wing. Pryor inboard, gets to him. Denham's inboard if he wants him. O'Connor leads now. Pryor goes longer. Hurd the target. Sanderson, good effort, front spot. It was a lovely stretch. Simpson was with the Hurd and took a very good mark. The give off, Hawking on the left. Under a bit of pressure in the end. The kick to centre wing. Brewer, good job. Brought it down. Riccardi slung it away. Got some distance. Tudor. It came off. Couch. It ricocheted off Tanner. Forced forward by Fraser. In the direction of Mercury. To O'Connor. O'Connor bustles towards goal. A free kick to Buick. Definitely.
Once again, I think it's like playing Russian roulette if a defender has an arm over the shoulder and then drags him back. Do you know the forward's going to fall back and help the umpire make his decision?
What a remarkable comeback this is. 7 goals from Darren Buick. And let's not forget, he went from the ground after he kicked 3, and I don't think any of us expected him to go back. Yet he's come back, he went from the ground, he looked to be injured, got strapped up, came back, and he's kicked another 4. And the Bombers are back in front.
Well, this is starting to reach Peter Hudson proportions when he came back after missing a season. I think he kicked about, well, it might have been 8 to half time. One of the great differences, of course, was that Darren Buick drove here. Hutto turned up in a helicopter.
And this amazing reenactment match continues. Mensch backhanders out the centre, and a free kick will go back to that player being tackled after he gave it a belt. So Geelong need to react. A lot of players all move forward now. Very few on the Essendon forward line. Punch from behind from Fraser. Fletcher does well to knock a few out the way. Denham works hard, and that is a very aggressive attack from G. Hocking again, and a free kick will go to Sean Denham. Quickly off Pryor, this wonderful kicking youngster. Hurd putting in the deep ones. Now Chips back over the head to Buick, the danger man. Gets around his opponent. Now he gets out of the pocket, kicks, and he's kicked his 8th. Oh, the Buick's on fire. How exciting is that, Gerard Healy?
Pick yourself off the floor, Malcolm. What a great goal that was from Darren Buick. And Peter Hudson did kick 8 goals in his comeback after a serious knee injury. And Darren Buick is really, well, he's the difference right at the moment between the Essendon that have got a finals chance and the Essendon that haven't. What a magical goal.
Great reaction. Look at that, Buick with 8 goals. A sensational last quarter. The Bombers are charging home. Hurd out of the centre, 19-8 to 17-10. A mighty roar from this huge crowd here tonight. McCurry's little handball off. Mercedes, Essendon with their tails up. Danaher finessing, kicks to centre half forward. Lucas, Sanderson tries to take another very good mark. O'Connor puts the tackle on him. Hocking's in there hard. And I was just reflecting for a moment, you talked about Peter Hudson kicking 8 and his comeback game and arriving by helicopter. What a lair you'd be tonight, as we've celebrated 100 years, to arrive here in a helicopter tonight when we've been coming in penny farthings in a common co. That would be a standout. Mensch, Couch, back into the Lord, centre half forward, Tudor to Rove. The ball ran away from him. Denham's give was terrific. Danaher running sideways, clever. Mercedes could kick this. 50 out, measures it, drills it, goals! Sensational! You could see him thinking, measuring the distance, balancing and going bang through. What a turnaround here.
He was Essendon's best player in the 3rd quarter, Joe Mercedes. This was smart play, wasn't it, from Chris Danaher? He could have also blazed away, but he just ran his yards, even his metres, found Joe who kicked the goal.
Unbelievably, the Bombers have kicked the last 5 goals of this quarter after Geelong had got the first and pushed their lead out to 15-odd points.
In 7 minutes too. 5 goals in 7 minutes.
Amazing. It's Grant Tanner now playing on Buick. With the bounce. Back in the centre. 14 points they lead by. Amazing. Simons has to wait and then pushed in the back from behind, and Derek Hall gives away the free kick. Why wouldn't you just go and kick it near Buick somewhere, son? 4 last quarter goals in a sensational performance. Kicks it high. Buick runs to the front of the pack and it goes at the behind. That's where Tanner is. Cockatoo Collins. Oh, certain goal. Another one for the Bombers. 6 in 7.5 minutes. 20-point leaders in what has been a remarkable turnaround from the start of this last quarter.
This gets the monkey off the back. Second half fade outs, doesn't it?
Well, I think it was always going to happen, but at the 1 minute mark of the first quarter, you would have been very reluctant to say so. In fact, it didn't look like it was going to happen this day. Geelong looked home early in this last quarter, but now it's the Bombers.
Some great kicking, isn't it? 21 goals, 8. Remember that inaccuracy last week? 10 more shots than the Swans and couldn't win. Danaher to centre half forward. Simons. Sanderson. Cockatoo Collins. Tanner all over him. 12-18 they kicked last week. Essendon at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 21-8 tonight. They look home. But it's been one of those matches. Maybe don't count Geelong out. They need somebody to provide some inspiration. Hurd, O'Connor. It's a miss.
Oh, disappointing.
Anticlimactic. 21-9 to 17-10. He hasn't kicked any goals, O'Connor, but he's been pretty important in this last quarter. And Sanderson to bring it back in. And the Cats need a miracle, you'd think. What was that margin in the opening time? They played one another 100 years ago. 23 points.
24 points. Here we go.
It was 23, and that's what the margin is right now.
Yeah. That's what they kicked 4 goals, yes. Up to Brownless, can't get hold of it. Danaher. Oh, he's done this a few times, brilliantly. Just very cool with the footy. Harvey, constructive into Lucas, can't control it. Now he's going to run himself out of trouble. Oh, really looses everywhere. O'Connor. Yes, that's right. They kicked 3-6 to long enough, 24. O'Connor goes the big torp and wobbles off the side. Hurd falls to Cockatoo Collins, and he unfortunately is missed.
Well, from somewhere, Geelong have got to find a runner there across the board, looking flat and despondent. There is still over 5 minutes to play in this game of football.
And goals have come in a hurry, Gerard, all night for both teams, so it's not impossible, but where's it going to come from? Barnes paid at centre half back. Maybe just a lucky break or two could build into something very positive. The game deserves a close finish. It has been a cracking match. Barnes to centre half forward, not quite there actually. King gets a free, was forced underneath, so a couple of free kicks to Geelong, one a paid mark. The 17-year-old, the youngest player out there. Only his 3rd game. Attacks to full forward. Mansfield worked underneath. High fly by Simons. Brownless tries to get it to Tanner. Tanner tracked it. Well done to Brownless. Goes back, a long way back. Mansfield wanted to go on.
Simons hasn't moved.
Yes, Simons.
Hit the ground very awkwardly.
Let's hope he's okay. They've called for a stretcher. Allowed to play on Mansfield. Riccardi. Essendon wanting a stretcher out there for the 2nd time tonight. Let's have a look at the replay here and see just how hard Simons hit the ground. A big flyer, as he's always been. He's completely fearless. Bang. Oh. Looked awful, didn't it?
Well, he didn't seem to have any awareness that he was about to hit the ground. You would normally expect an arm to come out just to break the fall. But this is serious stuff here with him just having his airways opened up to make sure that the air is getting down into the lungs.
Poor boy. Gee. A lot of care being taken here as Michael's being placed on stretcher. Simons, the fly, and we can just see how hard again from that wider angle. And as Michael Long was earlier tonight, taken straight across the ground, away from the interchange area and into the club rooms.
I think he just lifted his head then too, Bruce, just as, which I hope that's the case.
So Simon's coming from the ground after that high fly and a shocking fall as Simon Madden, one of the Hall of Famers who was on it tonight in front of Kevin Sheedy. Their team leads by 4 goals. Peter Riccardi's going to have a shot for goal for Geelong. And Geelong coach, just something that no one likes to see at all. So hoping everything will be all right. Riccardi's kick from about 48 metres, just drifting, and with it probably Geelong's chances. And behind to Riccardi, official attendance tonight 75,632. So it's a great crowd, a wonderful attendance. O'Donnell at the back pocket. So the scores 21-10 Essendon, Geelong 17-11.
And we're back to that 23 points, Bruce, that you mentioned earlier.
Thinking of the centenary test here with that same margin.
Amazing. And of course that year Essendon actually won the premiership, although Geelong finished minor premiers in 1897. Worked under the ball, Minch back onto it, O'Connor, Sanderson there to help. Oh, he's caught high. And that was a slip, accidental, very accidental, but accidents do count in this game. And he has players back in the middle. Scholl gets rid of the umpire and has a bounce. Now tips the ball to Pickering. Go right in the centre square. Pickering off to McKinnon. Flyers wanted. Can't get hold of it. Lucas. And they share the ball, Bombers, and run it out of defence.
Dorlan looking for Harvey. Good attack from the back by Tanner. Comes back from Dorlan to Mercedes. Big second half, Mercedes. Buick's got it. What a remarkable match. 8 goals to Buick, 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 4 goals in this final term.
I think if you had a dream last night, Darren Buick, it wouldn't be that this would have happened.
Well, he injured himself severely in round 11 last year against Geelong. Didn't play for the rest of the year, had a knee reconstruction, has been in the reserves for 3 weeks coming back. Played his 150th match on one of the biggest stages the AFL could create in 100 years before 75,000 people. And he's going for his 9th goal. His 5th goal in the last quarter. What a night for him. It's a fairy tale come true. It's everything a footballer could wish for in one night. 22-10 to 17-11.
And Benny Doolan just bursting from defence, setting them up once again. Just read it best. It's his night tonight, Darren Buick. He didn't get this perfectly, but he'd be happy with the result. No crummers once again for Geelong.
The remarkable Darren Buick. Didn't get a goal in the first quarter, but my word, they've come in a hurry since, including 5 in a magnificent last quarter effort. And a free kick going down the ground here to the Bombers, and Mark Fraser will take it. Have we got a magical 10 on offer? It's just got under 2 minutes. I'm sure the Geelong people wouldn't like to see that, but a lot of Essendon land would. Lucas worked through the traffic beautifully. Could have chipped the Buick, but went long and has kicked it behind. So the youngster who just fumbled a little bit early and slipped over, has got a couple of nice touches towards the end of the game.
Scholl to bring it in. And Gary Ayres is in new territory tonight. First time as a coach at Geelong. He's lost. His team has lost 2 matches in a row. They didn't do it for the whole of last year in that remarkably consistent burst they had. McKinnon. And they come back to the field after tonight a bit, don't they? 4 and 3. Kilpatrick, a floater to half forward. Brownless, nice take. Can balance and kick a goal, Billy, from 50 metres out. Won't quite get there. Good fly from Mansfield at the back. And through from behind. Brownless, 5 goals. And what about Michael Simons, Dipper?
Yes, Bruce, as we saw, he was knocked out, Bruce, and he's still in the rooms and the doctors are still in there.
OK, you've caught up with the trainers as they came back. Thanks, Dipper. So for the Bombers, bittersweet in a way with Long and Simons. but an important victory for them. They get a big monkey off their back tonight and they can go forward for the rest of this season.
And all of a sudden Geelong's had 2 fade outs in the last quarter.
Doolan. Wide to centre wing. Lucas is there. Good mark. Doesn't this do a lot for him too, at 18 years of age, to be involved in a victory like this on a night like tonight?
Yeah, he's got touches too, like just a couple of nice ones.
Centre wing. O'Connor. Harvey, but out to Hurd, who we thought would have to have a huge last quarter for Essendon to win, but we didn't count on Buick kicking 5.
In fact, Essendon play Footscray next week and Geelong play Carlton.
That tightens things a bit, doesn't it? So Connor a long way from home, and they don't have fond memories of Carlton, do they, after last year's grand final?
But they do have Gary Ablett back in the side, and probably Barry Stoneham.
They're handy.
Makes a difference.
Thanks for that, Gerard. I did forget for a moment. A kick by O'Connor. Fly by Barnes. I mean, shouldn't forget his contribution in this match. It has been very good, but the whole Geelong team seems to have faded as Sanderson brings the ball back to centre wing. And just as they did 100 years ago, they won again. The same olds. Buick got 9. 22-11 to Geelong 17-12 before 75,000 people at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. So the Bombers have won with a big second half. 22-11 to Geelong 17-12.